Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers on GBHL YouTube video. You're here, your host GBHL Damian, and this is my hobby vlog number 5. As expected, last week I didn't manage to get around to one due to being incredibly busy with work and then attending the Destination Stockport tournament. But I've done a few bits and bobs this week, and I'll hopefully have a couple of updates for you over the weekend. Just to give you some idea, it's currently Friday and I've not got much planned for the weekend, so I might get a bit of hobby time done. I thought I'd update you on where I am at the moment and then possibly top it up later. So, first up, here is Thrain as he currently stands. See if we can get that focus. There he is. He is now base coated. So I'm just waiting for the paint on him to dry. Then we're going to chuck some washes over him. Probably a combination of Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade to shade him. So a whole bunch of different reds going on there. Even the chainmail, which when I looked at the movie and all the stills, he's wearing red chainmail, which is kind of cool. That might be a bit of a challenge to paint, I think. But a very, very cool model, and I'm really, really hoping I can do a decent job on this guy. So that's Thrain, who's waiting for a couple of washes. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I think I'm going to start cleaning up my next couple of little projects. So, let's talk our way through these. I have Bolg, and it's real Bolg, in before he was renamed the Gundabad Orc General. You might have seen him appear in the Unboxing the Box video me and Jamie did, so I am making some progress on that huge backlog. So there he is, there's my Bolg. I'm going to be assembling him. Why, you ask? A couple of reasons really. One, I really, really like the model, I'm wanting to paint him, but also I'm presuming there's going to be a new Bolg out in December for the new film, looking like he does in the film, so I sort of figured if I don't paint this guy now, I'm probably never going to paint him. So yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea to crack on. It's a lovely, lovely model, so I'm going to be at the very least assembling him and getting him all ready to go. I've also then got, these ones are a bit duller because they haven't got the nice packaging, because I ordered them, they're direct only, but I have the 3 young dwarfs. So I have young Dwarf, young Thrain, and young Balin in there, and those 3, it kind of makes sense. I'm sure you know why I'm doing this for my Army of Thor force. I'm going to be cleaning those up and assembling them, and then painting some of these figures alongside Thor whenever I get around to doing him. So that's kind of where I am at the moment. I'm going to either be shading Thrain next and then cleaning up these models tonight, and hopefully there might be an update for you before I put this out on Monday. So I did in fact get a bit more done this week. It's now Monday evening, and I'm just going to update you on my progress so far and then upload my video tonight. So first up, Thrain. I did manage to get a bit more done on him, just one stage, but I have shaded him. So he's now had a kind of combination of Agrax Earthshade and Nuln Oil chucked over him, so he's now ready for highlighting, and that is my next to-do list. Next on my to-do list, and if I get a bit of time tonight, which looks like I might maybe get a bit of painting time, I'm going to start trying to work this guy up. But as well as doing that, I also found some time while the ink was drying to clean up the other models, so let's work our way through this. First up, we got Dwarf, young Dwarf, who's now ready to go. Who's an absolutely fantastic model. I mean, you're going to hear me say this a lot. I got to say, as I got to grips with all these young dwarf models, I was just so impressed with the sculpts. They're really, really, really gorgeous models. No problems whatsoever here with the fine cast. I think, let me see if I can see it. Yeah, you might not be able to pick up on it, but just under there, on his like little the kind of tunic skirt, there's a couple of tiny bubbles that really, really, really don't matter because you'll never ever see them. But I've noticed that on a couple of models where for some reason maybe the underneath of the model gets a couple of bubbles, but I couldn't care less about that. And the important thing is that the face, which of course is the most important part, is absolutely great. You can really see the kind of almost definition, that's the word, you get on the nose. And he's a gorgeous, gorgeous model. And the fine cast actually went together really nicely on this. You don't get, sometimes with fine cast you get the kind of gaps in the joins, but I think he's looking pretty cool. So that is young Dwarf. Next up is young Thrain, who all got assembled. He's another lovely sculpt again. Let's see if we can get him in profile. Come on, show me focus. There we go, is that looking alright? I think that's got him. And you can see that that's another, hopefully you can see, seems to be having a bit of trouble tonight. Sorry about this. But that is another really, really nice fine cast sculpt. No problems there. Took me a while to clean some of these pieces up. I actually quite like working with material. I think the fine cast is quite nice, but it does take a long time to clean up. There's lots and lots of flash. Next up, potentially the most exciting one, is my Barlin conversion that anyone on the Facebook group will have seen, which is young Barlin with Durin's axe. And that is the Durin's axe from Barlin, from the old model of Barlin. So it is actually, it's not just an axe to use as Durin's axe. Excuse me, it is the real Durin's axe. So I did this by, I was absolutely terrified, but I cut the Durin's axe off. I drilled into it with my little hobby drill with a 0.4mm drill bit to begin with, and then I cut his sword mace off there and drilled into his hands, and then inserted a little bit of kind of brass rod through the middle to make the axe. And the point of this, again, it's another gorgeous sculpt. Look, you can see the kind of nose, the definition there, really, really good cast. The point of this is to use, I want to do a kind of Dimril Dale themed army, and obviously you need young Barlin in that. And obviously the profile in Thrain's company, Barlin, is quite weak. So I basically wanted to have a beefier Barlin, but with the aesthetic of the films Barlin. So I thought the most sensible way to do that was to take the young Barlin model when he should be kind of stronger and a bit beefier, and use the Lord of the Rings profile. And so obviously the only problem with that is you've got to make sure the equipment matches. So I've given him a big two-handed axe, which could obviously be the two-handed axe he comes with, or Durin's axe, which should give him a bit of beef. Obviously he's defense 8, isn't he? Defense 8 or 9? I think he's defense 8 in the old rules, and he doesn't necessarily look like he's that armoured, but I think most people in Lord of the Rings are pretty forgiving with armour, you know, and quite how armoured someone is, and hopefully they'll appreciate I've kind of done it for the right reasons and made what I think is quite a cool conversion. I'm looking forward to painting that guy. So those are my 3 young dwarfs. And finally, what I'll be working on is another awesome model, which is Bolg, and he is now good to go as well. This model is absolutely stunning. Really is great. Loads of great detail on here. And again, the cast was pretty much flawless. There's no bits missing from it, no miscast or anything, which when you consider how how fiddly some of those pieces are, how thin some of those bear claws are on there and stuff, it's even more amazing, I think. Just sad that this model, you know, this likeness isn't going to see the light of day in the films, really, because I think the design's incredible. I did have to build him a bit of a base, because I don't know if you'll be able to see now, hopefully I've fixed it, but he was leaning, which way was he leaning? He was leaning forwards if he glued his feet to the bottom, or if he glued his feet to the bottom, the only other way you could, he was leaning kind of sideways like that. So I've built up this kind of green stuff mound so that he's on the base kind of standing up straight. And he is absolutely massive, which particularly when you add the green stuff just makes him even bigger. If you put him next to Barlin, you're going to see how huge he is, which is pretty awesome. He's a really, really intimidating looking orc, as you can hopefully see there. So he's a gorgeous model, and again, looking forward to getting started with him. But I think I might need a break from dwarfs in a bit, but I think he's probably last on the list. So these are my next guys to do. Just line them all up. My kind of dwarf heroes and Bolg. And then also Thrain, then probably Thor, and then working my way through the young dwarfs and ended up on Bolg. And they are my next painting project. And I reckon, optimistically, if I find time, I'll be able to do maybe one of these a week. So this is, sadly, these 6 models probably represent about the next month and a half of my life, which is a bit depressing thinking about it. But yeah, so call this a prediction that hopefully these guys will be finished kind of mid to late November. If I could get all of them done by then, without any delays, I'll be quite happy with my lot. So yeah, that is my lot for this week. I hope you've enjoyed that. As ever, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe. Support your hobby, and happy strategy battle gaming.